Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I'm going to be telling you guys how to overclock your RAM. Now, this might be kind of like a thing where people could be like, hold up, is this safe? Should I do this? And why should I do this? Number one, it is safe if you do the steps that I tell you to do. So just follow along with this video and I promise you guys you will be safe. Number two, what's the point of doing this? Well, you get better performance because like when your CPU can accept as much RAM speed as possible, you're leaving performance on the table because when you build a PC or get a PC, sometimes the RAM's not overclocked. And I'm not going to be showing you guys how to do it in the BIOS. I'm going to be showing you guys how to use it in the Intel Extreme Tuning. So basically, this will be only for like Intel CPUs, but I believe you could probably use it with an AMD CPU if you just don't overclock the CPU and upgrade the RAM. But don't quote me on that because do not trust me on that because I'm not too sure about AMD CPU since I don't own an AMD computer. So the first step to do, you would want to go to your browser, and basically this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to type in my CPU. So it's going to be the 10700H. So basically we're going to go to Intel's website, and this tells me everything about the CPU. We scroll down a little bit, telling me it's hit 5 gigahertz, and the base clock is 260 or 2.6. The max it can hold is 128. And right here, this is where we go. Memory type. It says DDR4 2933. Well, when I got this computer, it was 2066. Now, if I go to Task Manager, it's going to tell me that if I go memory, it's going to tell me I have 2933 megahertz already because I've already overclocked my RAM and it's worked fine for me. But you do not want to go over this number because if you go over the amount of speed of your RAM, your computer will not boot. The computer will not recognize the amount of speed, so yeah, it won't boot. Because with no RAM inside your computer, it will not turn on. It will turn on, but no boot screen to Windows or Mac OS. I don't know about overclocking Mac OS because, yeah, I don't trust Apple at all with overclocking. Alright, so what we have to do is that we first of all have to install Intel Extreme Tuning. I'm going to show you guys how to do that again in this video. I had it in my undervolting video for CPUs. Intel Extreme Tuning. Go here, and we click this download. This one tells us like stuff about the product and stuff like that. But make sure your CPU is here. My CPU is in this loop. I don't want to like point it out, be like there it is, because that takes a while. So install this one, and then you'll install it. It'll tell you to restart your computer, and then we will get to here. Now basically, it's gonna give me this thing where you can't see the screen right now. Now we booting, and basically we will not be able to overclock just yet. Basically, we'll have to go into the BIOS. I'm going to be showing you how to get inside the BIOS. So to get into BIOS, you have to you have to turn off your computer completely, turn it back on, and then press the delete key or F2 as fast as you can. So then the computer will not boot into Windows, it will boot into the BIOS. Now, on the screen of the BIOS, you will not be able to see anything but like the home menu, the advanced menu. Well, basically then, we can't overclock anything right now. But we have to get inside the advanced BIOS. Now, how to get into the advanced BIOS is that you have to hold right shift, right control, left alt, and F2. All at the same time, and when you do that, then you get inside the advanced BIOS. When you get inside the advanced BIOS, go over to the setting called advanced, scroll down, and it should say something about overclocking and something about performance overclocking. Then when you're there, you scroll down a little bit, and it should say Intel XTU. This will then turn on the setting to overclock with the program Intel Extreme Tuning utility. Turning that on, going back over to save and exit, hit save and exit, and hit enter, and then you're out of there. The computer will then reboot. It might take a little bit. So then we boot right back into Windows without doing anything. And while you're here, if you haven't undervolted your CPU, if you're using like a laptop, you could have this setting as the same as mine. I've been running this for a while now, and everything's been pretty good. Like I have been told to like mess with this kind of stuff, but I do not trust that because I do not want a computer that's gonna malfunction because I like the way my laptop is acting right now, and I don't want to play around with it. So next thing we want to do, or the first thing, if you guys weren't paying attention, you want to go to memory. So now we're in memory, and the thing that we have to pay attention to is right here, memory speed. So basically, if you have my laptop, like the laptop I did a review on a while ago, it will say 2066 across the board. And messing with these will fool around with it. So basically, I bumped mine up to 2, making it 2933. Or this might be at 21, not 22. And you could mess around with this. So basically, if you switch this stack down to 1, this drops your megahertz by a ton. And this will really hurt your performance. So keeping it at 133. The 1.33 is kind of good. I don't know if, you can't fool around with that number, so yeah. So you're kind of stuck with that, just keep it there. Then you have 2033, and when you fool with anything in memory, like, if you say, for example, you go all the way to 55, and run at 5500 megahertz, which the CPU will not boot then, because this is a lot of wattage. Like, that's another thing. You're using a lot of wattage, so even if the computer could boot, the computer would malfunction and maybe blow up if it could actually hit that number. So I wouldn't trust hitting that. I would stick with my numbers that I have, which are like kind of the best numbers. And then you hit apply, and then the computer will instantly reboot. And if you did everything that I said correctly, the computer should reboot. I'm just saying this for a fact, so let me give you another example. Let's try, what is it, the 9750H? And then we check this out. I don't know what kind of laptop. I don't own one of these laptops. I'm just saying it for example. This basically tells us it's the 9th gen CPU, and it has the same exact space clock. My CPU is a lot faster, and this runs at DDR4, 2066 as a max. I don't know what the base clock is on most CPUs, but if it is 2066, you shouldn't increase it at all. So basically, yeah, stick with whatever your max is. I would always check this stuff out. This is the same thing that goes for like Ryzen CPUs. I'll give you a Ryzen CPU, for example. 4900, what is it, U? I think. I'm not too sure. Alright, here we go. So we are in these specs on this website, telling us basically everything about it. It should tell us something about RAM. There's some memory. Oh yeah, so the max that it can do is 3200. So basically, if you're on the AMD side, you will get higher megahertz of RAM, which is something that you always should think about too. So yeah, pretty good. Apparently it's beating my CPU. I told you guys how to overclock your CPU. Well, in a video, I told you guys how to overclock your RAM. And yeah, another thing is that the series is moving to Friday because I think that Friday sounds better instead of just doing it on a Wednesday, because Wednesday is kind of that weird day. It's kind of in the middle of the week, being like, why the heck are you uploading this video? And I'm like, I don't really know. Anyway, guys, if you guys like this episode, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more computer kind of videos like this and to come in the future for you guys to enjoy. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys later.
Yeah, let's go.